Hello, welcome to another video in the Tech Workgroup Manager series. My name is Noel Bruton. You ever look around you and see other managers who are kind of just winging it and hoping for the best? You can't wing it as a manager. Here's why you can't wing it as a manager and what else to do instead. Have you ever worked for a manager who was winging it? One who wasn't fully in control? What effect did that have on you? And how did you feel about it? Is that the effect that you want to have on your staff? And is that how you want them to feel toward you? Is this what you wish to be your legacy? The fact that you were a manager who winged it rather than did it properly? When managers don't cut it in a technical environment, often it's not their fault. There is a big mentality gap between the philosophy and the approach of a technician and that of a manager. For example, staff follow procedure. Managers design processes and put the procedures in place. Staff use diagnosis by looking at individual parameters to find out which ones should be adjusted. Managers don't have the luxury of being able to use diagnosis because often they're determining strategies for which no parameters yet exist. Staff do as they're told, they follow a job description. Managers have to figure out what needs to be done and then design a way of making a work group able to carry it out. Technicians work with what exists because after all they're going through this process of diagnosis. Managers again can't necessarily work with what exists because they're often in a position where they have to decide what needs to exist. And despite this huge gap in mentality and despite this completely different approaches between the two, we still see technicians operating as managers everywhere, especially in the IT industry. And there's good reason for that. We need technicians to be able to do the job. We hire technicians because we need their technical skills. But when new leaders are needed, often the only pool of talent we have to draw from consists solely of technicians. But what if those technicians don't make the leap across that mentality gap to stop thinking about the immediacy of what's in front of them and start thinking about what needs to exist and what plans I have to make and strategies do I have to devise to put that in place? Often technicians in charge of work groups are managers in name only. Because they don't make that mental leap, they end up still doing the same job as technicians. In a work group that's not properly managed, things that need to improve often don't. The working environment, the service to customers, the reliability of the work group to the business. These things can be left untended because there's nobody taking a big enough picture to realise what needs to be done. But then that can mean that the manager who is actually remaining as a technician and not taking that bigger picture can generate peer resentment among erstwhile colleagues. The peers that go, I could have done that job. Or the peers that go, this person's been promoted above me and he's being paid more money than I am, but he's not actually doing a job that's any different. A new leader that doesn't gain the credibility of their staff loses that staff connection. You're not the boss if your staff disrespect you. They'll just be going through the motions rather than enthusiastically ensuring that you and they and the department are all successful. It's a fundament of your job to recognise your management purpose, to realise that the company needs that work group, otherwise it wouldn't have called it into existence. Thus it needs the work group to be successful too. Think about it. If you don't deliver that success, are you really earning your money? Are you really earning the extra salary hike they gave you when they promoted you to a managership? And that's a moral question rather than just a technical one. The work group's success needs to be defined and the staff needs to know what that success can look like and should look like so they can strive towards it. And that's the job of the manager, to arrive at that. Don't wing it. Do it properly. Study management. Get qualified. Improve your work group services. Respect your staff in the same way as you expected the respect of a manager that you used to work for. Improve your staff's working lives. Prove to the business that your promotion was a good idea. And build your own future. You owe it to yourself as well as everybody else who believes in you.